not in Kansas anymore.
You have my curiosity.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
The Force will be with you.
Welcome back to Get Real, the podcast where we get real about all of our favourite pop culture movies and TV shows. My name is Sam. This is episode 62, and with me, as always, is my critically acclaimed co-host, because I couldn't think of an intro, Chris.
I'm 62 years old.
62? Here we are.
It's been 84 years.
Back again in the white vans to talk about the White Tiger. There you go.
Step aside, Tiger King. There's a new Tiger property on Netflix to occupy everyone's time.
And that's all we're talking about today. Also,
there's Golden Globe nominations. Do you remember last year when we did Golden Globe nominations? Like, we've done this for long enough that we're hitting our second award cycle.
I was thinking about this. It's almost weird to think about we're talking about something that we talked about last year. It's like, wow. That's like I think this is like a benchmark, isn't it?
It is, like, award season 2021.
Here we're back. It felt like we never stopped talking about awards. It felt last year that we never stopped talking about awards for a bit. And we're back again to do it all over again. Albeit during, this time.
February, it's like just talk about awards the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, but this time it feels like there's not a lot in terms of. Anyway, we'll get onto it. What have you been watching this week, Chris?
Oh, what have I been watching? Right, we finished our MCU rewatch.
Very good.
Because I know last time we recorded, my pizza showed up as as I was about to watch Endgame. So we watched Endgame, we watched Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
We've started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I watched that back in the day. I watched like the first 4 seasons of it. So we started to just casually watch that every now and again. Started to properly watch The Office now. I've started Demon Slayer season 1 because that's on Netflix now.
Okay, I've not seen.
I must admit,
anything to do with that. Is that the one that's
really enjoying it?
Is that the one which is about nuns? Am I thinking about the right thing? It's got nuns in it.
No, I'm talking about the anime.
Oh,
Demon Slayer.
Okay, I'm thinking about something else. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. I remember what you're thinking of. It's like, yeah, it's like a demon nun slayer thing, and she's got that weird tattoo on her back.
Was that
like all over every social media in like September?
Was that like a recreation of the anime, but in live action?
No, nothing to do with it.
Never
mind. Demon Slayer is the one which movie has just become the highest grossing movie ever in Japan. So,
oh wow.
Season 1 is on Netflix. You've got the original Japanese with subtitles on there, or you've got the English dub as well, which is what I'm watching at the moment. Don't sue me, it's just easier to watch.
There you go. It's a bit like other things that have got English dubs, like Money Heist is really good, and that's an English dub. And then you've got Lupin, which is also apparently really good, which is also an English dub.
Do you know what? It was actually my nan this week was like, oh, you need to watch Lupin.
It's actually meant to be really good. I've heard.
Do you know what? I've seen the trailer and I'm like, I'm gonna give it a go at some point. I'm also wondering, did they get the name Lupin from the anime Lupin the Third? Because like it's all about a gentleman thief, isn't it? And that's what Lupin the Third is in the anime.
Yeah, I mean,
made by Hayao Miyazaki.
What's that?
Made by Hayao Miyazaki. Lupin the Third, the anime.
I can't.
That's actually just got a new Netflix remake.
I can't rate Money Heist enough though. If you're into English dubbed film, TV shows and stuff.
Keep saying it. I mean, I'm not really into English dub stuff. Like with animation, it's a lot easier to do a dub than real life. Like when you can see somebody like that's like distinctly like all the Korean shows that are on Netflix, and they've all got English voices to them. You're like, your mouth and the sounds that I'm hearing are definitely doing 2 different things right now. Whereas with an animation,
you would be quite surprised at how well Money Heist does, though. Like you get to a bit where
me that
you get to a point where you kind of can't then distinguish what's going on. It's pretty good anyway. What else have you watched?
I think that's it.
think that's
I
it.
think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah. I watched Godzilla
Jesus.
King of Monsters.
Oh, you finally watched it, and your reaction was kind of exactly the same as my reaction.
Do you know what? Like, there's some parts that I really like, but it's all in the third act, but most of the film I was just there like, ugh. I kind of felt like I was really wasting my time watching it. Like, I like Ken Watanabe is always great. I hate the fact that they decided to kill him off, but I liked his sacrificial scene because that like had the most like weight this entire series has ever had.
Yeah.
Like the way that he's the one setting off the nuke, like, and he's holding the watch that his father gave him when was it the second bomb was dropped on Japan. And so he's there, and like Godzilla was like born out of nuclear and everything like that. So it's sort of like the Japanese people like reclaiming the power of the nuclear atom to save Godzilla and save the world. I liked that, but why did you have to kill Ken Watanabe off?
I really liked the intro to that film, like the first act where they've got they've got King Ghidorah
in ice.
In the ice, and they're constantly going back and forward over it, and then you find Mothra, and I like all the Mothra stuff in it, because Mothra
awesome. Was there at the beginning. Yeah, I think Mothra has some of the nicest scenes in it, like some of the best looking scenes was like all the Mothra stuff. I liked the music in the film. The music in the film was great, and the way they brought back all the original films from the original Japanese films, and they changed them and modernized them. That was great. I really disliked the first two acts because the human characters in this film are so fucking dull. They flip-flop on the morals all the time, so like you never get a standpoint of where they actually stand because they're flip-flopping all the time. Millie Bobby Brown's character ends up like, it seems like at the end of the film she's trying to commit suicide by monster attack. But to be honest, if I had parents like those two, I would try and get stomped on by King Ghidorah as well. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, her parents just need to fucking get the grip. Just get a grip and get your act together. It was just frustrating. And the only good fight sequence in the entire film was really, like, the last one. The other ones, you couldn't tell what the fuck was happening.
Bit of the Transformers problem,
yeah. And because like I like them showing stuff from the ground, but they did that well in the last fight. But in the earlier fights, you just couldn't see fucking anything. You couldn't see anything of the monsters, and it was just like super quickly cut. And like half the shots of the fights were taken from behind the pilot in a cockpit or something. So the pilot's taken up like 80% of the screen. Yeah, I liked the fake out at the end though, where you think King Ghidorah has survived everything. But it's Godzilla's got the head in its mouth. That was pretty good.
Do you think?
Anyway,
do you think this has made you more or less excited for Godzilla versus Kong?
So, after I watched it, I was less excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. It really put a dampener on it. And then I watched the trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong again. I was like, okay, it seems like it might be better. It's like, so I'm hopeful for it. Okay. The people involved in it seem to like know what they're talking about a bit more than with like Gods and Monsters. I felt sort of like came out and died a little bit. But it's got a better audience score than critics score, whereas the 2014 Godzilla had a better critical score than audience score. Yeah. But I think the 2014 Godzilla is much better than King of the Monsters.
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
You actually like the human characters in the first one, which considering they spend so long with them. Like, the Western Godzilla films just aren't interesting with the human characters normally. Whereas the Japanese ones, like Shin Godzilla, the newest one, like 80% of that film is sat in boardrooms and stuff like that, but it's a really interesting take on Japanese politics. It's a Japanese political movie with Godzilla in it. And it's
I think we spoke
talking all about natural.
I think we spoke enough about
stuff,
Godzilla.
So. Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else other than King of Monsters that you watched?
Nah.
No, that was it. Right, cool.
I watched White Tiger. We'll talk about that.
Nice. I've been watching Vikings. I really enjoyed it. It's pretty good. I've just got to like a big moment in season 1. I think it's episode 6 I'm on. I like how big stuff happens like throughout. Like it's high stakes, not high stakes, but like big moments all the time in it. Like like literally there's all this talk about them going to the west, right? and it's all obviously, history is a thing. The Vikings did invade. But it's interesting.
Ragnar is actually a documented historical character as well.
Oh.
Obviously, they've changed a whole lot because there's not many records of him, but the character of Ragnar Lothbrok is apparently a name that we've got from history, and he did invade parts of England.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because he's a legendary Viking hero. Yeah, and yeah, it's pretty good. And like I said, they go straight.
So what was this big moment?
The bit. Well, I don't want to. In case no one,
because I can't remember season 1. See, it's like 8 years old now.
Is it? Is it that old?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I'm sure they're on. When did it start? Maybe not 8 years old, but it's like at least it's over 5 years old.
It's the bit where he fights the Earl.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And
2013 it started. So yeah, 8 years old this year.
Oh, jeez. I can't believe I'm only just getting on it. It's really good.
Really I haven't watched it for a couple of years, so I've got plenty to binge on now.
Yeah.
I think I caught up to where it was airing live, and then I just sort of stopped watching it for a while, so I'll go back to it now that I've got 2 seasons. So
has it like finished, or is it still going?
I think this season is the final one.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because when you look at the...
It's just come back for the second half of season 6.
Yeah, because when you look at like the character, not the actresses' names, but when you look at the actual characters that they play, like Rollo comes up as like there's actually a statue of him, and he was the first ruler of Normandy in northern France, so it's quite interesting. Cool. Anyways, this isn't a history podcast. This is a one where we're going to talk about films and TVs.
So cool.
And sometimes
just wait until you get to the first Blood Angel.
Ooh, yeah, okay, that sounds fun. So yeah. When we talk about movies and films and TV shows and all that sort of stuff, Chris, sometimes movies have trailers. Yes. Has there been any trailers this week?
They do sometimes have trailers. So, we had Coming to America. The sequel to Coming to America has finally got a full-length trailer. This drops soon, actually. I need to double-check the date. Spoiler alert, it seems like 5% of this film is going to take place in America. I saw the trailer though, and I was like, okay, it looks like it's going to have funny moments, and I'm excited to see Eddie Murphy do a good comedy like this again with a character that he knows. I'm trying to find a release date. I can't see it. It's coming to Amazon Prime though. But it is, so basically he finds out that he's got a kid in America, and he goes over to America to bring him back because in the fictional country, I think it's fictional, that they come from, only male heirs can be take the throne, and because he's the oldest son, he should get the throne. So it's going to be sort of like will they be able to update with the times, and his eldest daughter, who should be the heir because she's like royally the heir with the queen and everything like that. March 5th, 2021, it's going to come out. Should she be the rightful ruler and stuff? Some of the jokes feel a little bit too obvious, but I'm excited for it because I do like the original.
Yeah, the original's really good. So
it's probably going to be one of the better comedies of the year.
Yeah, hopefully they just... Well, I mean, they know what worked with the original, and hopefully they can just follow that through. What other trailers are there?
Yeah. What other trailers are there? We got a trailer for Marvel's Behind the Mask. So I don't think we ended up speaking of this on the podcast because we didn't know fully about it yet. It's a documentary film, I think the trailer said. On Disney Plus about like the people behind our favorite characters from the Marvel comic books and stuff like that, but it's sticking mostly to the comic books and like I said, the people behind it and the people that changed the history of comic books and everything like that. Like you've got a lot of stuff about Asian representation, female representation, black representation in comic books and stuff like that. And how Marvel create their characters to make them feel like real characters, and why so many people connect with them. There's some great quotes in the trailer just from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby already.
Pretty cool.
So that's exciting. Do we have a date for that? Behind the Mask. Not that I can see. Nope.
No.
I can't see when it's coming out. but it's coming out at some point this year, later this month.
Highly anticipated, though.
Oh, there we go. February 12th. I found it on like the 6th article I clicked on. February 12th.
So literally just
less than a week away. Then, oh boy, did we get a shocking trailer for Cosmic Sin.
Oh, I've seen
Willis
this.
is
Frank Grillo.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I've seen this.
Frank Grillo's in it as well. There's some like reasonably known actors in this, but fuck me, did this look like a Z-list movie with Bruce Willis in. It's literally just Bruce Willis doing his yearly film that he needs to do to get a paycheck. To begin with, I was like, okay, and then you started to see like half the sets are just random Forest B with a really obvious green screen effect, or just like bad space CGI. He plays some sort of space military guy in a half mech suit, like bioskeleton thing. I don't know. It looked awful. Aliens are trying to invade Earth. Whatever.
It reminds me a little bit of what was that film, that sci-fi film that came out that was meant to be really good, but it was like a little bit rubbish. I feel like it's along the same. I feel like it was along the same breath as like Ender's Game. I don't know whether it was Ender's Game actually.
No, Ender's Game was pretty good.
Was it Valerian?
Oh. That is a
Valerian.
waste of a movie. It's nothing like Valerian. Like, Valerian is probably going to be better than this, but that was a waste of a movie, Valerian, let me tell you.
Well, Valerian
that's pretty much it.
Did lose 83.1 million.
So much. That was from the guys that made Fifth Element, though. Like, that should have been good, but it just wasn't. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, we joked about Willy's Wonderland? The Nicolas Cage film.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually went and watched the trailer this week for it. Okay. And let me ask you if this sounds familiar. So a guy is stuck overnight in sort of like a weird robotics, like fairground, like Chuck E. Cheese type place. And then throughout the night, the animatronics start coming alive and try killing people. And he's stuck by himself to try and survive the night.
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Does that remind you of anything? Yeah, it really does remind you of Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm wondering, because that film has gone extremely silent. You know, the Five Nights at Freddy's film that was meant to be coming out?
Yeah.
We heard about it like 2 years ago, and it's gone very silent. And let's be honest, Five Nights at Freddy's is declining as a franchise. Like, I think they oversaturated it. They spent too much on marketing and stuff, and people have just outgrown it because it was the same thing time and time again.
So do you reckon
that
maybe this was a Five Nights at Freddy's movie and then they've just kind of rebranded it?
I don't think they've rebranded it. I think somebody wrote the script for Five Nights at Freddy's film, and then like whichever production company it was or distribution, like whatever company's behind it, lost faith in it. What studio? Sorry, I meant has lost faith behind it, and then they rebranded it as like an edgy R-rated, like they've got somebody else to rewrite the spec scripts to fit Nicolas Cage and this edgy slasher thing. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like to me. Like, it really feels like it was a Five Nights at Freddy's film, which got axed and turned into almost like how 2017's Power Rangers film was like. What's the name of that film now? The found footage superhero one with Michael B. Jordan in Chronicle. It felt like Chronicle 2, but then they put Power Rangers on top of it. Like, it feels like the reverse of that. Yeah. Like, it was Five Nights at Freddy's, but then they took the Five Nights at Freddy's branding off it.
There also was another trailer as well that I don't think we spoke about called The Courier, which has got Benedict Cumberbatch in it.
Oh, we talked about that last week.
Oh, did we? How he's trying to play every single major person from World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is set in the Cold War, this one, isn't it? The Courier.
I thought The Courier was... is that not the journey of the person who defected from Nazi Germany?
No.
Or am I getting it all wrong?
I don't know what trailer you've watched, bro.
Is it about the Cold War?
The Courier is the businessman that gets employed by the British Secret Service to smuggle information in and out of Russia during the Cold War.
I know what I'm getting mixed up with. I don't know the name of the film, but there is a I think there is a film in the works about. No. Let's carry on because I've got mixed up with two different things. Anyway,
I want to know what film you're talking about now because I feel like I've watched it.
I'm not. What I'm talking about is I've got mixed up because I've recently watched Man in the High Castle, and then I thought about Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game, which is about the Enigma machine, which is why it tied me to his thought that he was playing someone from Nazi Germany who defected and flew over to the UK to make it. He crash landed in Scotland or something like that, whoever this person was. But I then remembered that the reason why I was thinking about that is not because it was an actual film coming out, but it was a story that was quite interesting that I read that was about someone who was in Man in the High Castle that actually turned out in real life, his character defected against Nazi Germany and then tried to make a peace treaty.
In real life, his character or the character, but the real life version of him.
In real life, his character or the real life version of the actual person he was trying to portray.
Okay.
In actual World War. Anyway, this is a tangent that we don't need to go down. I was just thinking out loud. Anyway, there are little bits of news as well as the Golden Globes nominees that we need to chat about. Have you got the story there, or do you want me to take? Yeah, okay. I'll let you take it away. You start us off.
The first one that I just wanted to make some corrections on, because we got the full scoop on the Sandman casting. So it's Tom Sturridge is playing Dream, which was the actor that we didn't recognise. He has been in a few things, but nothing that we've really watched.
Okay.
Gwendolyn Christie is playing Lucifer, which I said.
Yes.
Which a lot of people are getting butthurt about, which I don't know why, because she looks more like Lucifer than the guy playing Lucifer in the Netflix show at the moment.
Yeah.
Also, Lucifer in the DC Comics is based off David Bowie, who is gender fluid and looks a lot more like Gwendolyn Christie than anybody else in the acting business right now. Yeah. Nobody got pissed off when Gillian Anderson played David Bowie and loads of other people in American Gods, so why are people getting pissed off about Gwendolyn Christie? She's a great fucking actress.
Yeah, she is fantastic.
We got Vivian, I'm going to butcher this name now. Akiapong is playing Lucien, the Librarian of Dreaming. We got Charles Dance has been cast in it, which we love a bit of Charles Dance. Playing Roderick Burgess, the Charlatan and Magician.
Yes.
We've got
The Game Begins.
Samviv, literally the most Game Begins guy. Literally at the end of Gods and Monsters, he does the Game Begins thing again.
He does. He absolutely does. Yes.
He's just he was so wasted in that film, and I thought he had died. And then he came back in the post credits, and I was like, "Oh, he's here for the Game Begins section of the film."
Yeah, literally.
Buying King Ghidorah's head. Anyway, we got Samviv Beskar playing Khan, the first Predator. Sorry, Cain, not Khan. So two of the characters are based off the biblical characters Cain and Abel. So then we got Asim Chundri playing Abel as well, who is the first victim. So in the Bible, I think it was in the Bible, Cain kills his brother Abel and buries him in the front garden, but Abel is able to be reborn every night and stuff like that, so he just keeps killing him and burying him whenever they have a dispute. So they are two Asian British actors that you'll recognise from loads of stuff. And then we got Boyd Holbrook, like you said. He's playing the Corinthian, an escaped nightmare. I do remember the Corinthian storyline from the comic books. It's pretty cool. No mention of Taron Egerton. Not Taron Egerton. Who was it?
It was Taron Egerton.
Was it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. No mention of him in the casting.
He's clearly playing someone who's a big character then.
Possibly. He might be playing one of the other entities of these Beyonder entities, like Dream and Death and all that sort of stuff. I want to know who's being cast as Death, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Dream's sister, because she is probably my most favourite character from the books other than Dream. Anyway, cool. Yep, that's the casting confirmed as to what roles they're playing. That's been tweeted out by Neil Gaiman himself, so
Perfect. Right, from the DC camp, we do quickly need to talk about a little bit of a tease that we got from the Snyder Cut, because the Snyder Cut is very much around the corner for us now. What did feel like a million years away. We got a little tease photo, didn't we, of Jared Leto's Joker. Now, it's a very blurry photo where he's literally holding up a Joker card. It's black and white, and he's blurred out into the background. But Zack Snyder tweeted this out saying, "Amazing character you created. Honored to have our worlds collide. At David Ayer Movies. At Jared Leto." He looks different. He does look different.
He does.
He looks like he's a bit more Joaquin Phoenix inspired / Dark Knight.
A bit more traditional Joker-ish.
Yeah, a bit more Dark Knight inspired kind of thing with the long kind of slicked back hair. Like the makeup's very much the Joker makeup in terms of how it looks a little bit more clown-esque than the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The grin definitely looks bigger. And the original photographer of this has posted the colour version online as well. He's wearing like the purple latex gloves that we see from like the Ayer cut and stuff like that. And it is definitely like more of a red smile going up his cheeks a little bit.
Okay.
And green hair. But he is sort of like longer, like you said, a bit more Joaquin Phoenixy.
It's quite interesting. I'm pretty much quite excited for the Snyder Cut now, just because there's all this stuff in the Justice League that we've not seen, and I think it's going to be very, very, very different. So anyway, it's exciting. It's exciting
like
to see.
Our other story that we are 100, 200, a million% confirmed that Martian Manhunter is going to be in this film now, and he's going to be a fully CG character.
Yes, I was pretty certain that this had already been leaked out, that Martian Manhunter was going to be in it, because Zack Snyder had tweeted like photos of Martian Manhunter, like not clearly of him.
Well, the actor. Yeah. We'd had pictures of the actor, haven't we? The guy playing John Jones, not the big green Martian version of him. But it is like 200% confirmed. Also, the actor who's portraying him is like now trying to push fans to like bug Warner Brothers for a Martian Manhunter film, because he wants to be Martian Manhunter properly. Yes.
The other thing I've also heard,
speaking of DC,
just dead quick, is that the Joker appearance that we might be getting is actually something from the Nightmare scenes that Bruce has. So that would be really cool if it was like a really old, like, because obviously he's like a bit more of an older Bruce Wayne. It'd be cool if it's like flashbacks to that, and you could just see a different Joker altogether. That'd be pretty sweet. But I've heard that it might be because it's in Nightmare flashbacks or whatever.
Well, Nightmare would be flash forwards, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that would be it. The Nightmare timeline, sorry.
Yeah. Either way, though, it's excited to see it. We kept saying as well it would be nice to see a different person's take on the Jared Leto's Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely excited for that. Have you got the description? Oh, I've got the description here. I just scrolled down in our iMessages and found it. So we got a blurb, a synopsis for the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
So I'll read this off. Welcome to Hell, aka Belle Rave, the prison with the highest mortality rate in the US of A. Where the worst supervillains are kept and where they will do anything to get out, even join a super secret, super shady Task Force X. Today's do or die assignment: assemble a collection of cons including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and everyone's favourite psycho Harley Quinn. Then arm them heavily and drop them literally on the remote enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. So,
I like how it uses the word enemy-infused, because we're thinking Starro's the villain, aren't we?
Yeah. So, and like he's like fusing into people's faces. So,
yeah.
Smart choice of words. I think that is double confirming like who the main team that we're going to follow is. So, if the character wasn't named there, expect to see them get killed off very quickly in the film.
Oh, do you reckon that'll also mean that King Shark gets killed off?
No, King Shark's in that list.
Oh, was he? Oh, sorry, I missed that.
So you got Bloodsport, Peacekeeper, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and Harley Quinn.
So Weasel's definitely getting killed.
So Weasel's getting killed off, which will save him a lot of budget on CGI. Also, one of the interesting things that I noticed here is, because of all the other photos that we've been getting lately, Polka Dot Man's been in most of the images, but he's not on that list. So I reckon there's a chance that both teams might get dropped onto the island, and then like you'll lose quite a few of them in like the opening skirmish. Maybe they'll storm the beaches, like almost like Normandy, and a load of them will get killed off. And then one by one they get picked off until like the third act, and then we've got our main ensemble team.
Yeah, they just get stars to the face and taken out. Starfish. Death by starfish.
Death by a starfish. Definitely.
While
Could
we're
you
on the
imagine
topic...
King Shark being turned by a starfish?
Oosh. Maybe they have to try... That would have to be a mighty big starfish, though, to be fair.
I mean, Starro is like the size of a building.
So maybe
normally.
Starro could take over King Shark.
That'd be pretty cool.
He'd just crush King Shark if he's the size of a building. Anyway, while we're talking about DC as well with Justice League, it is now officially rated R. So you can't, it's not... This ain't your grandma's Justice League.
Violence.
Joker violence? Nightmare violence? Darkseid violence?
I think it's just going to be all-round violence. Just
Batman violence?
Yeah, we're adding the blood sprays back in there. Yeah, we're not cutting away from shit.
Batman's
it's going to be like
gonna just shoot more people and...
Yeah, what I was thinking was it's going to be more like the Blu-ray version of Batman vs Superman, where he throws a guy into a wall and it's just a big blood spray from his head.
Oh yeah, brutal. But that's the universe that this is in, right? So you can't complain about the fact that that's not how Batman should be. The Batman in this universe, in Earth 1-1 whatever, is like this. So
yeah. Marvel news, or have we got anything else DC?
I've got another couple of quick... do you want me to just do some couple of odd news stories before we round up with Marvel news?
Yeah, can do.
Dustin Diamond, I'm sure you heard about this. Saved by the Bell, he passed away at 44 years old.
Oh, yes, sorry, I didn't recognise the name.
Yeah, he passed away from stage 4 lung cancer, which is sad.
Yeah, apparently it was rather sudden as well. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, 44 is too young. Way too young.
Yeah. He's been in and out of the headlines a little bit too much recently. Like, I don't know what was going on there.
And then also...
Matrix 4.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
Name has leaked.
Okay, what's it called?
Matrix Resurrection.
Resurrection.
So,
get the fuck up, samurai.
One of the makeup... we got a simulation to burn. So one of the makeup artists posted this on their Instagram and their Twitter, saying that they were all given like these jackets and like tracksuits and stuff like that with like Japanese scripts down it, and this was like we're going to write it in Japanese so nobody knows what it says unless they translate it.
So
Japanese. It translates to... they even hashtag Matrix... oh, no. So somebody's translated it, and then that's where the hashtag started from, Matrix Resurrection. So I'm going to guess this is how we're going to get, like, Neo, Trinity, and all them back, because Trinity died, didn't she? So we're going to see at least 2 dead characters come back.
Interesting. Not resurrected, so to speak.
Yes.
American Horror Story Season 10 has just begun filming with the working title of Pilgrim. It's got Sarah Paulson, Kathy Bates, Lily Rabe.
So they're all coming back.
Yeah, Evan Peters,
the usual suspects.
Finn Whitcroft, Leslie Grossman, Adina Porter, Angelica Ross, Billy Lord, and Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, okay. Billy Lord and Macaulay Culkin have been added to the cast. I haven't watched it for a few seasons now, but like the first 10 names that you rattled off them were all usual suspects for American Horror Story.
Interesting. Bring Macaulay Culkin back into it. It's not a bad little shout for something like that.
Maybe. Make him play something creepy. 2 movies and a series about the GameStop surges are in the work. You sent me this one.
Yep. Okay.
Here's what I said. This is what I responded with. How? the story isn't anywhere near done. And I was like, this isn't a series, this is a 30-minute news report at most.
I think it's pretty much done now. I think it's kind of tailed off. The stock price has dropped suddenly, like really dramatically again.
Plummeted.
Yeah, it's but I mean, maybe it's not going to be a true representation of what happened. Maybe they can just dramatize it. They'll have it a bit like The Social Network, where bloody
yeah, but like that was like a years long sprawling thing, and like it was about the birth of a whole company. It wasn't just about a 2-day stock surge.
Jesse
like,
Eisenberg
it's not going to be the next Big Short, is it? Like,
wow. Jesse Eisenberg sitting there on Wall Street Bets Discord, being like, "Hold the line, hold the line."
It's just not worth a story. It's like, I think that was just like a headline that came out.
I'll be honest, it probably depends on who they cast in it and if it makes it interesting or not.
I think it's the same thing as the Tiger King one, but that's gone very silent as well, hasn't it?
It has gone very silent. But Nick Cage did do a fantastic series in the history of swear words, so you know what? I'm actually down for watching him as the Tiger King.
Next story. So
Marvel?
We've mentioned this a couple times now. We almost did an episode of long-awaited sequels that we wanted to see, and I had Cloverfield on there, and it was going to be like my little trump card. It's like, yes, but we haven't had a direct sequel to the original. Anyway, apparently, 13 years later, Cloverfield 2 may finally be happening now.
Is it going to be found footage?
We don't know yet. So there was a load of legal rights when Bad Robot was signed to an exclusivity deal with Warner Media, but Paramount still had rights to the Cloverfield franchise, but the rights were also tied up with Bad Robot. So, like, this is why we haven't had anything since Paradox. Do you remember how after Paradox came out, like, they announced, like, 2 other films were coming? And then they just sort of, like, disappeared. Warner Media have now got the rights to Cloverfield and have said that there's going to be a new Cloverfield film, which apparently the Ruslumas at the moment are saying that it's going to be a direct sequel to the original.
Bro, do you remember when the first Cloverfield came out? And it was like such a big deal at the time, like people hyper-analysing all the footage of like the monsters and stuff, and at the end, and there was all this kind of like just
the reason was as well, like it had an insane online like viral marketing campaign, so like they were making like these cryptic websites and everything like that for it, you know, almost like what Blair Witch and stuff like that had done beforehand in like Cannibal Holocaust and stuff like that, where like they put it out there and like, oh, it's a real thing that's actually happened and stuff like that. So like they made, and it was like early days of like meme culture and like deep dark web stuff on like, and people getting involved in all sorts of cryptics on the internet and stuff. So like it did insane, and it did catch so much attention. Like I remember for our generation as well, because like I think, was it a 12 or a 15, that one? And this was what, 13 years ago, so 2007. So we were like just entering high school, and I don't think most of us were probably old enough to go see it, but like this was like the first like, oh, let's go see like a horror film in the cinema and stuff like that. So I know it captured our generation as well. It was absolutely massive. When it came out, it's the only thing I heard about in school for like 4 years.
Yeah, literally. Marvel news?
I love it. Yeah. Yep. I was just double checking, but yep. Marvel news. So if you've not seen our social posts yet, we've had our first behind the scenes look-sees at Thor: Love and Thunder.
Woo! Looks very interesting.
So, we are getting a full-on 90s costume for Thor. I sent this in the chat. Is it the Thunderstrike outfit?
I believe so, yeah.
In the 90s?
Believe so.
It's basically Thor, but with a sleeveless red leather jacket, and that's exactly what we've seen on set of him. Peter Quill has some new armor. Nebula looks like she's had a few changes to her outfit as well. But.
I'll let you take it away.
No, not the picture. Not the picture of Chris Hemsworth, but in very tight 80s jeans. the but that I'm thinking of is one of these shots had a like giant like animatronic of what looks to me like a huge white goat, and straight away, like I was on this straight away texting you just there like, bruh, do you understand? So in Norse mythology, Thor has two goats that pull his chariot throughout the cosmos, and their names are, let me double check, they are Tangrisnir, which translate to teeth bearer or teeth snarler, and trying to pronounce it with that NJ in there, Tangyonsnir, which is teeth grinder. Because it's like Mjolnir, it's like the MJ is like Mjol.
Yep.
So it's like Tangyonsnir.
So Thor's going to ride
basically,
some goats. Oh, they're going to pull his chariot.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get the chariot, but I reckon we might have him ride in a giant goat into battle at some point. I
mean, what's more 90s,
I mean, they've been bringing this back as late as like 2 years ago, and we were talking about the unworthy Thor storyline, which was like when he lost the hammer and Jane Foster became Thor, and in the beginning of that he's got Tangrisnir, like he's literally just riding him on the moon. So yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see it. We also get Sean Gunn back as his character, who I can't remember his name of, but he's got Yondu's fin probably installed and everything now, so he's going to be probably a permanent member of the Guardians now in this.
So that's fun.
Yeah. Like, the outfits are so out there that it has to be Taika Waititi production. Yes. It looks fun. If we're getting giant goats and crossovers galore. Also, I've got a news story in front of me here, which has just been posted. Fat Thor is still going to appear in the film.
They'll have a weight
despite
loss
what
montage.
We've seen. It's either going to be some sort of magic thing, or it's going to be a time jump. I reckon.
Maybe he sees bloody Jane Foster again, and then he's like, oh no, I've really let myself go. Oh no, she's become Lady Thor. Oh no, I need to sort my shit out. And then
she's not become Lady Thor, she's just become Thor.
Sorry.
And people will get pissed
Thor
at you about it, like, it's not Lady Thor.
But
you even sent that clip, didn't you, for the screenshot in the chat.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe it's him like having to like burn the weights and use, and stuff like that. Anyway, there's another story, big story coming in from the MCU camp, isn't there, about Wakanda?
Oh yes. So, do you want to take this one? Do you want to take this one while I refresh my memory? Yeah,
sure. So basically, Disney Plus, Ryan Coogler, I believe, has been headed to do a Wakanda-based TV series for Disney Plus. Yeah, that's an exciting time. There's not really much else in terms of details about it. I'm assuming Black Panther 2 is still happening because it's in the slate. But we're also going to get a Wakanda Disney Plus series, which is, excellent. I think, good.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, a lot of people have always talked about how they'd like to see more of Wakanda, and Wakanda's really fleshed out as a city from what we see in the MCU stuff. So I guess there's plenty of stories in Wakanda that you can tell because of all the different tribes and stuff like that as well. Yeah,
well, it's an entire country, so what I'm hoping is that we could see, like, some of these other characters, like Lupita Nyong'o's character, and like the Dara Milaje and stuff like that. I'm hoping we can like get more with their characters and stuff. And Daniel,
I know who you mean. The guy from
Daniel Kaluuya, is it? It's Daniel Okoye.
The guy from Get Out. Is that who you're thinking of? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That guy.
I'm trying to. Oh, it is Daniel Kaluuya. I got it right. I doubt myself, and I didn't want to get it wrong and just leave on like the wrong note. That would have just been super disrespectful. And get like Winston Duke back in there as well as Mbongo.
Any other stories from the MCU camp? 45
yes,
minutes in, and we haven't talked about the main topics yet.
Wow. Spider-Man is wearing a full CGI mocaption suit, which he normally only does when he's wearing the Iron Spider suit, but a lot of people are suggesting that maybe it's an all-new suit entirely. Maybe if he's going multiverse hopping or something, maybe he's got some like Doctor Strange infused suit or something. What else? Oh, WandaVision has been confirmed to have a Luke Skywalker equivalent cameo towards the end of the season. And so
Captain America returning Infinity Gems.
Yes. She brings Captain America back from the dead. Yeah, you throw me off my scent now. What was I saying?
That was a very disconcerted that you did that. That was like, I've lost where I'm up to.
Yeah, and I also just realised that I named Winston Duke's character from Black Panther wrong. But, oh well. Oh, jeez. I can't think tonight. My head is mushed.
Look, there's going to be a big
Paul
cameo
Bettany
in
has said
WandaVision.
it's an actor that is... Paul Bettany said it's an actor that he's always wanted to work with, like a high stakes actor. We have some theories as to who it could be. I think the obvious one would be Doctor Strange, because this leads into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness directly. And the showrunner of WandaVision knows what happens in Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2, so that they can link all together.
But that would surely mean that it's somebody that he's not worked with before, right? If it's saying that it's someone he's always wanting to work with.
Well, he's never been in a scene before with Benedict Cumberbatch, and I haven't seen anything outside of the MCU that they've worked on together.
Okay, so potentially there's a good chance. So
it would be on-screen acting time. Yeah, but I don't feel like that would be like Luke Skywalker worthy.
No, I don't think so.
So there's been some other theories floating around the internet about this. So it could always be a Quicksilver coming back, or maybe Evan Peters' Quicksilver coming back. Maybe.
I don't think that's allowed. That's not something that Paul Bettany will come out and be like, I'd always want to work with this actor, though. Well,
maybe like Aaron Taylor Johnson, maybe. Maybe he's a good actor. Okay, so this one's out there. Patrick Stewart announced a while ago that he did meet with Kevin Feige and was discussing things to do with Professor X and stuff.
Okay, that's
but
interesting.
he says that he said goodbye to the character in Logan and he doesn't want to come back as the character again. Whether we get like a small little multiverse thing or it's like a different version of Professor X, and maybe that would be a thing. That would be like a Luke Skywalker appearing moment. Also, it could be like a Wolverine or a Magneto or something. Maybe reveal.
Mm-hmm.
The leading one that I kind of hope it is now. Somebody said this. I can't remember who said it online on YouTube. What if it's Tobey Maguire?
Oof.
And this leads directly into Spider-Man 3, and it's like the first, like, she fractures the multiverse and things start to bleed together. Because you think about it, like, young Luke Skywalker was like the original, like, he was like the first character that we got to know in Star Wars and stuff like that. Like, he is like the original Star Wars character that people think of. So him coming back in The Mandalorian was like getting like the original actor back in it. Like it's such a momentous occasion getting like the like lead character from those trilogy, from the original trilogy. So like, what's the first Marvel trilogy or property that people think about? It's normally Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. So bringing him back would be like the same level as bringing back a young Luke Skywalker. That's how it feels in my mind.
Interesting. I guess it's a case of waiting and seeing, right? And seeing what happens.
Yeah, but
big cameos.
Now that they've overhyped it this much,
what if it is Mark Hamill? What if it is Mark Hamill playing somebody?
Playing Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. What if it was?
The Star Wars universe is one of the multiverses. Also, Paul Bettany revealed that an end credits scene from Endgame got taken out of Endgame, but we might see it repurposed in here, which Vision is in a body bag in like a morgue, and Wanda goes to get his body, which might lead to how he's resurrected and how she has his body or something.
Why would you have
We've seen shots from a trailer.
Why would you have it in a body bag in a morgue? He's an android.
Well, the theory is, do you remember in episode 4 when the leader of SWORD was saying that they're now working on AI, nanotech, and robotics? All three of those things are what made up Vision. AI, robotics, and nanotech.
Okay.
So maybe it was like they had his body in a body bag because he is like almost human as well. He's got like fake human tissue, as built from that cradle device from Age of Ultron. So, and obviously, like, he was human to them, like, he had a consciousness and everything, and he was a member of the team that died, so they would have gave him respect and put him in a body bag and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it could be, like, a SWORD lockup, so maybe they've got, like, dead Skrulls and stuff in there. So maybe it's, like, a SWORD compound, and they've just got, like, loads of, like, bodies of aliens and shit like that, and he's in one of those drawers, and Wanda got it from there, maybe.
Maybe.
But we've seen a clip of Wanda in like a room with like loads of like drawers up the wall, you know, almost like a mortuary. So
yeah, interesting. Is that it in terms of news? Yeah. You have more, don't you? But you're looking at how long we've been recording for, and you're like, no.
Yeah. It's just like small little bits that don't like. We've hit the main shit now. We've talked about the stuff that we need to talk about.
Okay, brilliant.
The stuff's just there. Like, oh, do you want some salt? Do you want some seasoning?
Okay, no. Let's swiftly move on because we're pushing for time, man.
Super speedy Golden Globes.
We are certainly pushing our episode time a lot higher recently, aren't we? We're just chatting for days. Chatting.
Okay.
Golden
Super
Globes,
speedy.
Right, we're not going to go through
Golden
every
Globes.
single one of these nominations like we did last time. Absolutely not. Because to be quite honest with you, when we talk about the Golden Globes, not a lot has really come out this year to be able to really talk about. And that's probably the biggest thing about the Golden Globes for 2021 is that there's not a massive variety of stuff. The biggest thing, I think, for me, that's been making an appearance in a lot of these nominations, or a lot more than what it would have done had it been maybe a normal year for cinema. And definitely not one of them, but Trial of Chicago 7's mentioned quite a lot, which is a good film. We've spoken about it before, and we
said we wanted to see it nominated, so this is definitely good.
Yeah, and the Borat subsequent movie film as well, the Borat number 2.
Yeah.
That's been mentioned a lot, and Sacha Baron Cohen's come out just saying that he's overwhelmed and humbled by the fact that it's both of those films have been recognised. He paid tribute to the creative teams that led and supported both of the films, and he also said that if they don't win, he's going to hire Rudy Giuliani to contest the results.
Yeah. So he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Trial of Chicago 7 and Best Lead Actor in Musical or Comedy for Borat. So he's up for 2 different acting awards in 2 different categories. Like, if that's not the diverse actor, I don't know what is.
No, and in terms of the films as well, like Trial of Chicago 7, Best Motion Picture for Drama, Borat's subsequent movie film, Best Motion Picture for Comedy or a Musical. You've then also got it's up for Best Director, Trial of Chicago 7. It's also up for Best Screenplay. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Maria Bakalova, who is Borat's daughter in the movie in Borat 2, she's up for Best Actress, Comedy or Musical. Obviously, he's up for Best Performance for an Actor for Comedy Musical, as you said. You've also got Best Supporting Actor for Motion Picture, and then also Best Original Song in Motion Picture has got Trial of Chicago 7 on it as well. So that seems to be quite a common appearance. Another film that's making quite a lot of appearances in this is Mank, which I've not watched. It's the Gary Oldman film, but he's up for Best Performance by Actor for Motion Picture.
Fincher.
Yep, and it's also up for Best Supporting Actress, which is Amanda Seyfried. She's up for that, and it was also up for Best Motion Picture as well.
So another one that I wanted to talk about quickly, Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman are both up for Best Performance for Actor and Actress, respectively, in a drama for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Mm-hmm. I reckon, looking at this category, Chadwick Boseman might win this in memoriam.
Yeah.
He's going up against Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Tamar Rahim for The Mortician.
Yeah, I think it's...
Or Mortanian.
It's hard, isn't it? Because why would you ever put Chadwick Boseman into this category for him to not win it based on the circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, it would still be a sign of respect. Like, we understand that he had an amazing performance, and we like the way they've split it into different categories. Like, they have more opportunity to nominate more people. So even if he doesn't win, it would still be respectful to his performance in it to nominate him.
I would be,
but
like,
it would
maybe if this
in memoriam, like, yeah.
I mean, maybe if he wasn't in this category and there wasn't, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, if there was 4 contestants in this category, I would probably say Riz Ahmed has an incredible performance in Sound of Metal. Like, the fact he plays somebody that's deaf, and you see that happen, and he's just this over the top, like, he just reacts in ways, and like he's learned sign language and stuff for the film, and the way the film portrays the character that he plays in there, just really good. But like I say, I think Chadwick Boseman's probably going to take the award here, to be honest.
I don't know if Viola Davis would win her category because there are some other great performances there. Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman and Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Nomadland seems like it might get quite a few awards this year because that seems to be the only film that people are talking about.
Yeah.
Super quick then, we have 3 female directors.
Okay, yeah, sorry, go on. You do that first.
3 female directors nominated for Best Pictures. Mm-hmm. So you've got Emerald Fennell. She actually played Camilla Parker Bowles in The Crown. I did not realise that she was also a director, but she's the director of Promising Young Woman. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Regina King, who's also an actress. She's nominated for One Night in Miami. And then you've got Chinese director Chloe Zhao, who is up for Nomadland. So I think this is the first time we've ever had 3 female directors up for Best Picture award.
That's cool.
Best Director award, sorry. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty phenomenal, to be honest.
Definitely. Another couple of appearances that come up quite a few times in terms of TV series. You got Schitt's Creek comes up quite a bit, which everyone kind of is raving about at the minute. Ozark comes up a lot, a Netflix TV series that I've never watched, but that's one of the originals that's been on for quite a while.
Queen's Gambit is up for Anya Taylor-Joy. I don't think anybody's surprised by that.
No. Mandalorian's up for Best Television Series.
Let's go!
Get it in there.
Few snubs that a lot of people are talking about.
What's that?
No to Five Bloods.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anywhere. No Better Call Saul.
No, there is Better Call Saul.
Bob
Odenkirk's nominated for Best Performance for an actor.
But it's not up for Best Drama. Like, the show isn't nominated. He is nominated.
The thing is about Better Call Saul is it's definitely him, not the actual show itself. The reason you're watching it. I get why people aren't happy about it, but the credit would go to him, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
another one of the films that everybody has been saying is one of the best films of the year is Minari, and Stephen Yeun and the entire cast, none of them have been nominated for anything in the acting categories, but the film is nominated for Best Foreign Language Film.
Yeah.
Which, considering it's shot and it's a US production as well, is kind of surprising that it's not maybe mentioned in any of the top motion pictures or anything like that. It's not Best Motion Pictures, Borat, Hamilton. Oh, sorry, for musical or comedy. Borat, Hamilton, Music, Palm Springs, Prom. And
it's not like we're going to get
Best Motion Picture Drama, The Father, Mank, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, and Child of Chicago 7. It's not nominated amongst them, but it is in foreign language.
Yeah, we're not going to get another Parasite situation this year, I don't think.
No. Best Picture is now 10 nominations in the Oscars, so it's possible that it might get an Oscar nod as maybe like the 10th place, but I don't think it would win necessarily because it's not got quite as much buzz as Parasite did.
Yeah. Soul is in there for Best Animated Picture, and I think, because I've seen Onward, which is also in there. I've not seen Over the Moon, Wolfwalkers, or The Croods, but I think Soul would take it away.
Probably.
Based on how impressed I was by Soul.
Pixar normally win these ones.
Yeah.
Also, Hamilton is nominated for a lot, so Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, Best Performance of a Leading Actor, music and stuff like that. But apparently it's not going to be nominated for Oscars because it is just a filmed version of the stage performance. Golden Globes have said, yeah, we'll nominate it, whereas Oscars are saying that it doesn't meet the criteria because it's a stage performance, it's not a movie. Which is interesting.
It's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah. Just thought it was something to... Because it's nominated for every category it can be nominated for.
Yeah.
In the Golden Globes, and it's not going to be up for any. So I think that's that covered.
Yeah, I think so. And not until I think what's going to be more interesting is the actual results. I think right now we can just see it's not a surprise that a lot of the stuff in here is in here, considering that we've not had much released over the last year. I think maybe next year's Golden Globes is going to be quite interesting, and next year's award season is going to be quite interesting when we have all these films that were delayed and being released, and and stuff throughout 2021. So I think that's pretty much that wrapped up. Shall we move on to our film of choice for this week?
I think we should.
And it is The White Tiger, a Netflix movie executively produced by Ava DuVernay.
Yep, directed by Ramin Bahari. Barani. There we go.
So, shall we just talk about the film generally, and then we'll kind of talk about what happens in the film and spoil it a little bit?
Just off the top then, I'll give it a super quick overview. This was meant to be a theatrical film, but obviously 2020 happened, so Netflix swiped it up and released it, which is good that we still got to see it this year. A rich Indian family's ambitious driver uses his wits and cunning to escape from poverty and rise to the top as an entrepreneur.
Yes, it is based on the novel named the same, The White Tiger.
Yeah.
By Aravind Adiga.
Yeah. So, what I will say about this film is the performances are pretty good. The lead actor in it, I feel like I'm just going to butcher these names, and I really apologise to everyone involved. Adarsh
Gurav.
There you go. You can say these names.
Okay.
You are a million times more. Probably gonna nail these.
I have 25% Indian heritage. I'll have you know. So
I didn't want to mention it.
It rolls off the tongue.
I didn't want to say. Do you know what? I was like, I went to say it, and then that's why I just said you're more qualified. I didn't want to be like,
there is
Sam's a bit Indian. Sam will say it.
There is absolutely no problem with that. That is absolutely fine.
yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it, because do you know what? I was thinking when I watched it, because it's something that I always forget about you, because we never speak about it or mention it at all.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if this might have, you might have had any more insight in this. Obviously, I know you don't have strong ties to Indian. It's not like you've got a huge Indian family that you speak to all the time and stuff.
No,
so I just didn't know if maybe you thought something different about this film because you have got, like you said, 25% Indian.
No, it's it's things that I've spoken to my grandma about and stuff, and she's talked about her heritage because she's gone on and done big find your ancestry stuff and all that. but yeah, it's there's parts of this that, from what I've been told, like the sides of poverty that are represented in here, even though some of it's quite humorous. It's it's some parts of it are filmed to come across quite humorous, like with the grandma.
Yeah, it's definitely satirical. It's like darkly satirical.
Yeah, but it's pretty. That's the way things are over there. It's very much like that. It's very much like how Ashok, who is Raj Kumar Rao, the one that looks after Balaram during the film, how he's gone over to America and come back, and he's very much like a different, like looks at things very differently. It's that cultural divide between what we know and how things are over there. Very much focused around family. That's how things like that are. It does a good job of representing it, and it does a good job of representing stuff like that without trying to kind of fluff it up, if you get me. Without trying to make it not seem as crazy as what it actually is. It just does it a little bit with a bit of satire. So I think it's a good. I quite like the film. I mean, you were talking about the actors and actresses before we moved on to that. So you've got Adarsh Gurav as Balram. He's the kid. He is the white tiger that you see in the trailer. You've got Priyanka Chopra, who plays Pinky, and Raj Kumar Rao, who plays.
I didn't realize that was her name in the film.
Yes, he calls her Pinky the way through. Yeah. And you got another couple of people in there as well. I think the lead actor in this was great to carry this film. Yeah,
because he does carry this film. Like he is in every scene. Like he's the narrator of the film. And he really does carry it. I think his performance was great. And like just a lot of subtle things that he did, like in quick like flashes of the camera and stuff. He was able to like put a lot of feeling, and like you could see changes in the character really well, with just like sometimes just like a slight glimpse of a smile when something was happening. You could see that his character was changing.
Yeah, he hasn't had like a great deal of cinematic releases. I mean, he's been in a few.
No, he's more of a musician apparently.
Yeah, he was in Mom, which is a 2017 film, which he's best known for before this. So
was that the one? I'm blanking on a name. Was that the one where the mum becomes like a serial killer or something?
I think so. I'm not too sure. But he's only 26.
Oh no,
he's only 26. Film. The guy. So fair play to him.
I was thinking of
Ma. Oh yeah, that's Ma.
As in M-A, as in like shorthand for mum.
Yeah. Overall, how did you enjoy the film
then? See, when I was watching it, because it covers a lot of the same things, and I'm seeing a lot of people say this now, like after I watched the film and I came to my own conclusion, I then went to see what other people were saying. It felt like they were covering a lot of the same ground as Parasite, only I think Parasite did it a lot better. Yeah.
It's got
obviously
that whole
it's
kind
two
of
very
poverty
different
to riches.
cultures, though.
Yeah, it's the whole poverty to riches story, kind of, isn't it? So
yeah, and it's like somebody like basically using the blindness of wealthy people to infiltrate their sort of lifestyles and like try and further their life through it and stuff.
Yeah.
It felt to me like Parasite, but delivered the same way that Wolf of Wall Street is.
Yes.
So you've got like the voiceover, and like the guy's a little bit sleazy in some of the things that you do, so you need to see where he came from to this. But it felt like only like the first act of Wolf of Wall Street. Like when the film ended, like I felt like that should have been the halfway point. Like you saw him get to where he is, and then you see him where he is. But that's just segregated to like a minute at the end of the film is where you see what his empire is. And the Empire is nowhere near as big as it led you up to believe at the beginning of the film. Like, at the beginning of this film, where you see him walking through like offices and everything, and he's like constantly like drinking Johnny Walker and like a lavish lifestyle and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, this guy's like moved up in the world. It's like he owns a small taxi company.
Yeah.
Or what looks like a small taxi company.
The thing
is a large taxi company.
The thing is how it's represented in this film's really interesting. How rich is kind of represented, because what you would think rich in somewhere like the US, UK, Europe kind of thing is very different. Like the cars that you drive is like you would drive like a sports car, or you would drive something like super fancy, super expensive. Yeah. Where in this film, that's represented by a nice looking SUV. That's like not necessarily a new. It's not like a Range Rover or anything. You know what I mean?
Well, this is also set in early 2000s as well.
Yeah, I know, but like it's still kind of that whole like, even if you would still have like them driving around in something like a sports car or something, or like a fancy car, but it's not. And it's like the whole thing of how it's represented. It's like how it talks about like the difference between. I think they talk, don't they? Like if you lived in America and went over to India and you had like £10,000 in your bank, you would be a millionaire, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting how it has that, how it represents that in the film. And I think that's kind of why it's like owning something like a taxi company is like a level of like you have all these people that work for you. I don't know what he says. He says he becomes the white tiger, but it's like you become the something, or you are the something. You have the slave, and then you have your own slaves and stuff, and that's just the way it is over there. But it's like it was the whole thing. They talk
about master and slave a lot. Is like that's how they define everybody, whether they are a slave or a master. Like that's how they refer to everyone and stuff like that. Like. That's a repeated theme. Is like obviously there is like heavy issues with slavery and the class system and stuff like that, and the caste system especially in India as well, which I don't really know much about. So this was interesting. Like this film definitely captured me, and it was enough to sit through and watch and everything like that. I wouldn't say it was like breathtaking or anything like that, but it was really interesting, and it kind of makes me want to watch other films that explore these things more, or maybe like documentaries and stuff like that. It definitely gave you like a foothold of knowledge into it to then explore more.
What would you give it out of 10?
Probably like a 7. 7.5 maybe.
I think that's about fair. That's about what I would have gave it.
Yeah. I think it had everything there to be like a phenomenal film. I just don't think it quite had the same impact as some of the other films that we've referenced.
So we'll probably now move on and talk about some of the things that happen in the film more specifically. So if you are wanting to go check out this film, make sure you go check it out now and then come back. Time codes are below, as always, so that you can skip back to the spoiler parts and avoid them as well. But at this point, we will spoil parts of the film. Right, is there any bits of this film that you want to talk about specifically that happen? Like the big thing in the film is obviously how you start to get the red bag a lot, you know what I mean, and it starts to tease this thing about how he gets put in a really bad situation where he basically takes the fall for a car crash that kills a child in the streets, right? And then he kind of then starts to take the brunt of it because he's a fall guy. And that's what they end up doing. And he's trying to then get out of that. It's like he escapes one thing by having to like donate the money back to his family. But then he then has to escape another thing about how he has to get out of this rut that he gets himself stuck into just by trusting his masters. And that's very much how they look at it. They trust them and make sure they know they'll look after him. And he always says in the film, he's a good slave. You know what I mean? And he's self-aware of that. And that's what he always tries to be. And then he starts to become this a bit like in Parasite. He starts to become this self-aware, he knows he's getting done over kind of thing. And that's where then he takes advantage when he knows that there's that big cash deal going down with the red bag, and then he kills Ashok. So that killing scene was quite tense, to be fair. I quite liked how they kind of set that up. It was obviously bound to happen, but it was just really interesting to watch in terms of like how he kind of like he's constantly deciding whether or not he follows through on it or not, right up until the last minute, and then he knows it's too late, and he just sticks to it.
Yeah. I liked like how, for me, the interesting parts were like you said, the interaction with him taking the fall. I liked him interacting with his family. And seeing how their relationship grew as he started to learn more about the world and how his ideals changed. And I liked his relationship. Well, I didn't like it. I liked the way it was portrayed was him with like the father figure of the rich family, how he's constantly like rubbing his feet, rubbing his legs and stuff like that. And then how when he is taking the fall, they bring him in and he's like, oh, you're a member of the family now, like you're a brother to us, like you're like a son to me and stuff like this. And well, it's not just the father, it's the mongoose as well, which is the oldest son. So like the higher end of the patriarchy of the family. And I liked seeing like, again, I didn't like seeing it. I like the way it was presented, how like you see him raise up like with this family, and they do start to like treat him better and stuff like that, and then he takes the fall and they're treating him like one of the family, and then straight away, as soon as they don't need him anymore, he's literally like rubbing his feet and kicking them over again and stuff like that. It's as soon as you get your worth out of them, they put them back into place again. And like that spoke a lot, because it felt like there was like a progression in the film, and then like as soon as that point hit, it dialed everything back, and then you realize like he doesn't like rise up the family, like he is gonna be constantly pushed down, and like this is where the caste system comes into play in India. It's constantly creating the cycle to keep this master and slave thing going. Like you're constantly creating the poverty gap so that they would have slaves for the masters to rule over. Yeah,
I liked the relationship between Pinky and Balman as well in the film. How like obviously she's brought in from the States, she's brought in away from that culture, and like she sees through the like just how things are. Like obviously when he's getting like mistreated by the father head, like you said, and stuff like that, where he's like rubbing the legs and stuff, and how she's like, there's that bit where after he takes the fall and she's like disagreeing with it, and then he comes in and starts doing it, and then he stops, and then he kicks him and tells him to keep doing it, and she then like flips the lid, and it's almost like kind of, it almost like acts upon how we would feel with that. It's like, why are you doing that? And
yeah, it brings the Western sensibility to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it speaks for
although
the
she is like a daughter of Indian parents, but she was raised in America, so she's been raised with like a mixture of both ideals, the West and the East. So she is like the Western audience is like lens into this world. So yeah, I thought she did a great job, like presenting like sort of like she wanted to be involved and like respect it all and stuff like that, but she didn't agree with certain things, and she would fight for that. And it's only until like when things start to go tits up that she's like, I cannot support this side of it anymore. She had to take a stand instead of sitting on the fence.
Yeah. That's like, unless there's anything else you want to talk about, it kind of wraps the film up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. I really liked whenever he was interacting with his grandmother. I thought they were great. And that was an interesting thing as well, how like they were in poverty, but like the grandmother was still like most of the time when you see poverty depicted in film and stuff like that, it's like there's definitely a class gap, and it's the upper classes keeping the lower classes down and stuff. But then, like, you see that, like, not everything's sunny within the lower classes as well. Like, the grandmother definitely doesn't treat the rest of the family properly and stuff like that, and she is, like, taking money off him when, like, obviously they need to give money to support the family and everything like that, but she's got the money, but she won't use it to help the family and stuff like that. She's doing it to marry the kids off and stuff. And he still feels downtrodden even by his grandmother and stuff like that. That was an interesting dynamic that you don't see really in anything that does anything like this.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, I thought it was a good film. It was just sort of, I think it just sort of stumbled over its feet a little bit and didn't nail the landing.
Yeah. I don't think it blew any doors down. You know what I mean? I don't think it.
No.
But it was just enjoyable. It's good. It was a good watch, and it's an interesting take, and probably kind of educates us a little bit on how things are in different parts of the world.
So what I've heard as well, this director and he wrote the screenplay and he directed it. It's Ramin Barani. So I've seen part of 99 Homes, which is like a film set in the US with Andrew Garfield and Michael Shannon in it. That's to do with like the wealth gap in America and like the recession and stuff like that. So he does tackle these themes a lot, and he has done other films set in India and set in like the Middle East and stuff. And from what I've heard, his other films tend to do this a little bit better. Maybe it's because he was adapting a novel. I'm not sure. It's sat on 7.2 on IMDb, which I would say is a perfectly fair score for this. 87% on Google, 4 out of 5 from Empire, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. I definitely don't think it's 92% worthy, but it is still early days for this film. So, you know,
volatile.
It could get there eventually.
Volatile scoring.
92%. Yeah, 92%. So it's certified fresh from the critic reviewers. Audience score is 81%. I watched Mark Kermode's review on this as well. Like, he said a lot of the things that we said. Like, there's a lot of amazing stuff there. Like, he was like overall positive on it as well, which we are.
Yeah, we are.
It's still definitely worth a watch. It's definitely, like I said, it made me more interested in this theme to discover it more. Especially, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news and stuff like that. You've got all the protests and riots from Indian farmers at the moment and stuff. How the government have passed a law that could inflict with the minimum sale value of crops and stuff like that, which is only, if things carry on the way they are, it's only going to increase the wealth gap between the poor and the rich, and stuff like that. So it is a very timely film as well. So with this going on in the world and then this film coming out, it definitely makes me want to explore the subject a lot more, to educate myself.
It's appropriate timing as well to educate people on it and get people reading into it and stuff. So cool.
I think it's definitely a good gateway.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up there because we've been going on for quite a while. Make sure, let us know what you thought. Make sure you let us know what you thought of The White Tiger. Let us know what you thought of the Golden Globe nominees as well. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to take it? Do you think there's going to be a sweep this year? Let us know. And other than that, make sure you're following us, checking us out on the socials. We have another podcast, Get Real Gaming, which our friends Richard and Lawrence host. They are very, very knowledgeable around video games and video game news. You may also notice that we've started posting more news articles on Instagram. Let us know what you think of them. And the socials, you can check us out at GetRealPod. And you can email us, getrealpoduk@gmail.com. Chris, how can people help us out with the podcast, and how can people support us?
Best way to support the podcast, Sam, leave us a rate and review on whatever podcast network or platform you're listening to us on. Follow us on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you go to Podchaser, leave us a rate and review on there. We'll syndicate it to everywhere that hosts our podcasts, apparently. The best way, though, just share us out with your friends. Share us on your Instagram story when you see us post a photo or something like that. Tell 2 friends about us and get somebody else listening to us. But yeah, thank you for listening to another episode, guys. We've been doing this over a year now. We've hit our 2nd award cycle, so get ready for more award stuff. Let us know what you want us to cover in the future, because there is a lot of stuff starting to come out now on different streaming services. So if you guys tell us what you want us to cover, we can prioritize what we watch and stuff like that and talk about it. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. And Sam, do you want to say a final goodbye?
And we'll see you next time. Wash your damn hands. Stay safe. Bye.